Today's topic is Islamic investment funds. Mean those who have some money and cash to spare. Some people are really starved of cash during this pandemic, but some are, drowned in the cash because they have just spare money and they are investing here and there, and property prices are still at the same price, things like that. So this is just one individual, but really I get also type of questions that um, if you want to put your money in the stock market while the stocks are rising, you are a good investor. And once, whichever, whenever you feel that it will be going down, you just sell it off, yeah, and buy something else. So keep eye on stock. So, but the matrix, complex matrix to decide which companies, I mean, in London stock market, stock exchange, there are thousands of companies listed. I don't know how many thousands, but of them, how many we can invest? I thought BT, British Telecom, was, it's a telecommunication company. Like Pfizer is a pharmaceutical company. They might be compliant, but both are not compliant for different reasons. So today we are going to find out how this complex decision making works. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, let's move. There is a lot of to cover. And I hope you can see agenda is role of investment funds. So instead of we struggling to find information about each company and everyone and doing lots of research, there are like something called Sharia compliant investment funds, yeah, and they do all the work for you, and they screen the companies, they do the research, constant watching, and then they invest, make a profit, give you the return and profit. And there are two types of return. One is the dividend, or second is the rise in the price, yeah, of the shares. Yeah. So on the right hand, I have put like half a dozen different funds which are on the UK, marketed on the UK market, in UK. Some are US based, some are UK based, some are other based. Yeah? Uh, so role of investment funds, types of investment funds, key principles of Islamic investment funds. What are the Sharia Islamic parameters? Islamic fixed income funds, Islamic equity funds, and how Islamic equity funds is like selected from the universe of several thousand companies uh, working in conglomerate areas like Nestle. Nestle is a very global conglomerate, and they have business in in most of the areas. Some mix of halal and haram. Okay, purification approaches. If there are stocks and there operations which are problematic, then they have to clean. Islamic real estate investment funds. So among these here, these yielders, invest grow yielders, and there is another called Igloo Crowd Fund. Igloo, IGLOO. I forgot to put their logo here. Igloo Crowd Fund. They are property fund. Whatever money you put, you buy a share in the property, in a house or in a rental property or in a resale property, and then whatever profit is generated over some time is distributed. So this is today's agenda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 items. And on the right hand, I just put you the practical example. Yeah. So for instance, one, I haven't put it here also. Sorry, I keep missing many things. On the second page, is it? No. Sorry. So like Aberdeen Global Equity Fund. Aberdeen is a very famous name in fund management and in asset management. And the other name is Aberdeen, and the second one is and the Aberdeen fund was like 200 million, nearly 200 million pound worth of equity across the globe, and the details are coming, inshallah. So this is a complex area. Like if anybody has a regular saving or have lump sum or pension funds, yeah, pension. The simply ethics is for the pension purposes, yeah, because pension advice and selecting a fund which there are special criteria for investing in pension. So pension funds and general saving accounts and funds, yeah. So let's move to the next agenda: benefits of collective investment fund. So the story I shared with you, very clear and I mean, there are people around the globe who try to invest themselves in foreign exchange, in equity markets, local markets, or international markets, and individual companies or group of companies. So, but this individual effort is too much effort for everyone to make sure and manage all the parameters. So these people, they do on our behalf. They take the investment money from us. They invest based on your choices. So there are like simply ethical, yeah, or Sharia capital based on Sharia, and Wahid is the American one, and Eager I don't know, but you can find which jurisdiction is based. So there are like for last 30-40 years there have been like 900 plus investment funds across the globe, from Far East, Middle East to US and to Europe. Yeah? 900 funds based on one category or the other. Some are real estate fund, some are equity fund, some are fixed investment fund. 900 of them, they are not all trading, but this is like the history of Islamic funds. Most of them are surviving at the moment because there is a threshold to survive for their survival. So let's see benefits of collective investment funds. So instead of individual trying to manage too many juggling balls, these funds, they do on behalf of the customers, savers, and alternative saving schemes apart from deposit account and ISA account. And economics of scale, like instead of, if there is too much money to invest, then there are too many parameters to manage, too many diversification and other things to manage. And of course, diversification through specified fund liquidity mean if you need suddenly back your savings, you can encash your saving at any time. Liquidity. Professionalism. There are fully professionalized fund managers who specialize in some areas of this. On the right hand, I have put Tata Ethical Fund, Taurus Mutual Fund, yeah, Tata Mutual Fund, and their diversification into software, pharma, consumer non-durables, petroleum products, and others, yeah. And this detail of like their performance in comparison to annualized return in comparison to national index. So if national index is performing 14.3, they perform 20%. And if the national index is some 8, they perform 12%. So they're ahead of the average rate of return in the stock market if you diversify properly without adhering to Sharia. So I hope that inshallah we are going through. Let me just put my clock here to time myself. So many banks also run funds, manage funds like this, and many independent and specialized groups also manage this. There is something called Scottish Widows, Scottish Widows Investment Funds, general, but they started the Islamic Global Equity Fund, Scottish Widow Global Equity Fund, like 15 years ago, and they continue. And then they sold the Islamic Fund to Aberdeen, which is now 200 million worth. Started with zero, like few 100,000, and then it grew up to 200 million fund. So these are the benefits of doing it through fund, saving schemes through funds. Okay, so types of investment. Let's see how many different types. Like for instance, there are, like, if you want to, the gold fund is not mentioned here. Yeah, I should add it. Yeah. So like if you just want to invest in gold and benefit from the gold, there are gold investment fund. So these are close-ended funds and open-ended funds. Close-ended funds mean they are fixed in their size. So they take the subscription until it reaches target and then they close it. Mean is like put to active. So they have a target. As soon as they achieve it, they close it. No further investment can be done. ABC Bank, long time ago, they did something like that. Open-ended fund mean people can keep on coming, people can keep on leaving. So there is no penalty for leaving and incentive for coming in, just your criteria. Open-ended means there is no limit, lower or upper limit. Lower limit will be there for the purpose of the cost effectiveness. Interval funds, the temporary funds, yeah. Defined maturity funds mean like 10-year long funds, which are 5-year long funds. But if you invest now, in 5 years' time, the fund will be wounded up. Exchange traded funds mean some funds which themselves are listed on a stock exchange. So ETF, exchange traded funds. So for instance, if there are like gold funds, they can they can sell their shares, their subscription through the stock market. So by investors' cash flow profile, there are like this type of funds, but by type of assets or in the areas where they invest, it depends whether they are doing in stock market or they are doing in interbank market, money market, fixed income funds, or balance funds, mean where they try to balance between growth and income. And there is a real estate investment funds, trust, REIT, real estate investment fund, mean they are only investing in property market. That's it. There are like crowd funds, Igloo and yielders are there. So based on the liquidity in cash flow, there are these types, and based on the asset classes, these are these types. Yeah. Sorry, if there are any comments. I'm just. Oh, good. There is a question that is Amana pension fund halal. Good if it is available, because Amana, I took them off because they are only available in. I thought they were not available in UK. So yeah, if it says Amana, That means it is a segregated entity and there is a Sharia board there, and it should be Amana Pension Fund will be halal. There was some mortgage insurance Takaful fund also which has been wounded up. HSBC is very selective what they market here. Yeah. So HSBC one I didn't put, but there are like hundreds of funds really. So after you learn everything from today's presentation, you will be pretty sure which one is halal and how to make it understand it is halal or not. There are some rule of thumb. You can find it out, inshallah, through the diagram. There are some colorful diagrams, but I just happen to have this diagram, not much. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So by the investor cash flow, by assets, and then by style of management, active management funds mean day and night they are active, and index fund passive mean they once invest and then they just keep it there. And because in the stock market, it is the longer you wait, the better you get. Special fund, private equity, venture capital funds, yeah, private equity, venture capital funds. So like so the like nearly 1,000 funds which have been popped up and may have gone off during last 30-40 years. They are all in different areas, some specializing here and there, some active, some passive, some dynamic, or like the type of investor. They represent really the type of investors. Yeah? So now let's see assets of Islamic investment fund. What do they do? How do they uh, how do they ensure that the income derived, acquired, and distributed is, or any appreciation done, is all halal? So Islamic money market funds, money market sukuk, short-term deposit in Islamic banks. As in the first lesson, I told you that most of the Islamic banks have deposit accounts, and if you go to confused.com or moneymarket.com, you will see that Islamic deposit accounts do compete with the conventional bank also. And money market sukuk is currently under consideration by the Bank of England. And due to Brexit and the pandemic, it has gone into the back burner. Although a couple of years ago, they published a consultation paper, how should they manage the Bank of England? How should they manage overnight credit? Money market mean between institutional credit and settlement to balance the accounts. Yeah? Money market, sukuk based or some other based, the structure is there, but announcement has not been done due to some other priority thing because of pandemic and Brexit are priority. Islamic fixed income funds based on sukuk. I mean, there are some funds, not here in Dubai, in other places, where if you want a fixed income, not a volatile and variable, because the rule of thumb is that if you take much risk, then you can get higher reward. If you want to take low risk, mean fixed income, then you have to settle with the lower income, which is this fixed income. Islamic equity funds mean, however, whatever is the performance of the stock market in global stock market, New York, London, Frankfurt, Japan, and other places, Hong Kong, it will be reflecting the up and downs of equity, stock market. And real estate represent the real estate. Yeah, Sharia compliant real estate investment. So cash and liquidity must always be placed in Sharia compliant manner, i.e., in Islamic banks, money markets, sukuk, or in conventional bank, but without interest. Yeah. So any placement will be in those. And Alhamdulillah, during last 15 years, I've been party to this Scottish Widow Global Equity Fund and later on it became under Aberdeen, and is now going through transformation to other companies. Yeah? And it has grown like 200 million from zero. It 120 million of it is really our youngster and children's fund, which was initiated by the government, and then uh, encouraged parents to put in the name of the youngsters. Some of them are nearly Balio now, so they will take they would be taking encashing the children's fund. So assets mean in terms of their end target and area of market. Yeah. So how do we know that it is Sharia based and Islamically compliant? Yeah? So previously, like maybe 20, 25 years ago, the stock market was a no-go area because it's mix of halal and haram uh, area businesses, and then accounts of the major companies are mixed halal and haram, and then of course the way the shares are bought and sold, there are some halal and haram issues. So these are the principles which, if it observed by the fund manager, then it becomes halal. So through the IOFI, the Audit and Accounting and Audit Organization of Islamic Financial Institution, they developed certain rule of thumb that uh, in this chaotic world of stock market, how do we uh, invest and participate in a least Sharia non-compliant and most suitable area. So out of like 3,000 or 4,000 companies, some criteria are put, and that criteria reduces the domain of the investment, but it gives us some niche return also because of the Sharia and Islamic principles. So the key principles of Islamic funds, the funds which I mentioned to you here, the Tata, Taurus in India, and then here, these are all in UK based. These funds, they operate that they are established to invest only in Sharia compliant securities, meaning shares and certificates, yeah, and equity. Stipulated in fund prospectus or investment contract. So if you just type the Aberdeen Global uh, Equity Fund prospectus, you will get like 70-page document which gives you all the policy matters regarding the establishment of fund since the beginning, where they will invest, how they invest, how the Sharia supervision is done. So they consistently invest and operate in Sharia compliant manner. Regular certification for compliance is required. No repo, no short selling, no derivatives, no borrowing. So these are the, in fact, this no, four no's are to avoid the, many people still think that participating in the stock market is like participating in a casino market. Yeah, I mean buying and selling share. But if in a big pub building, if you go and drink orange juice and halal juice, then you will not be sinful to participate in a market. So within the general casino-like stock market, if we observe our principles with no repo mean uh, some future contracts, yeah, reproduction or something. If you type repo, you will find the definition on Google channel. Short selling is buying in the morning, selling in the afternoon, buying in the evening, or borrowing the stocks from someone else and selling it to exacerbate the market. Derivatives is nobody understands what is derivatives. Like underlying asset value being traded. Borrowing mean leveraging Like you put 10 pound in the stock market, but you can buy 100 pound worth of stocks through borrowing from the broker. So every fund should have Sharia compliance officer and Sharia advisor or board of Sharia advisor. So as I have served on Aberdeen in Scottish Widow, there were like 4 prominent Sharia scholars who set up the prospectus, who put the criteria and guidelines for the fund manager. The next is establish approach to purify itself from possible non-Sharia compliant investment. As you will learn later on, that there are, because we are living in UK, we cannot demand that UK should comply with Sharia law or the British Parliament should comply with Sharia law because it's beyond our remit. Similarly, big corporations, big companies, we cannot say that they should be 100% Sharia compliant, otherwise you will not invest. It's not possibility. So with the damage control exercise or with the minimum Sharia deviance, these are criteria which are prepared, which are coming in the next slides, to participate in a public manner where the investors are Muslims and non-Muslims, mainly non-Muslims. Among them, so trading among non-Muslims, you observe your principles, and you, if there are some impure income like non-halal income, you just give it away for sadaqah, not use it for this. Like if large companies have hundreds of millions of pounds, I mean their balance sheet is billion pound, but they have hundreds of millions here they are lying in current account for transactional purposes, and they are earning interest. So those interest incomes are identified and given to the charity. As long as we don't benefit, we are not responsible for those earnings. Other principles for the best practice of investment funds apply, e.g., professionalism, competence, management of conflict of interest, segregation of client and assets, etc. Yeah? These are the general principles. Yeah? And some other lines in terms of indexes is coming. Yeah? So that typical structure of investment fund. So there is a article of association, mean a company, which will be like set objective that we are here to do trading in the fund market based on Islamic Sharia principles. So suppose buying and selling gold there's nothing wrong. So you set up a fund for gold and you take the investment from people and buy gold and sell gold and make some profit. Yeah. So that will be, but under the supervision of Sharia scholar. And there will be fund manager who will be wakil, the investment agent on behalf of investors. So investors will invest, an investment fund will accumulate funds, and then they put it either in securities or keep it some as a cash flow thing. So the structure is a wakala structure. The fund may take form of a trust or collective investment contract or company, special purpose entity. So mostly in UK the fund regulator is little bit like strict. So many people go to Ireland, go to Luxembourg, European jurisdiction. They take the license there and then port the fund here. So custodian needs not be an Islamic bank, but conduct upon assets must be within the Sharia. Is no interest, no cash, no repo, no security. Okay? So the custodian means the account operator for this fund could be Islamic bank or non-Islamic bank, because as long as they observe the wishes of the customer. So money market and fixed income funds. Money market is like overnight or short-term borrowing among the big banks and big funds. It's institution, nothing to do with individual. Yeah? So invest only in eligible fixed income instrument like Sukuk, money market Sukuk, deposits in Islamic banks, which I told you the Bank of England is considering at the moment, and the structure is ready. It's just need to be launched for the Islamic industry here. Main challenges of Islamic money market and fixed income funds are availability of instruments, like how would they keep money to uh, in, in, to initiate the funds, short call, diversity of instrument and issuers, liquidity of instruments, thus liquidity of the funds. Like for very short, like overnight or 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, so there has to be very flexible. Thus, development should start with the government sukuk. Yeah, that is the most appropriate in Gulf and Malaysia. Yeah, this is money market, and it doesn't concern us. Although the money market income fund is under construction under the supervision of the central bank. Here it's called Bank of England. This is like a rule of thumb which Sharia scholars have agreed, like collectively through their deliberations, that in the publicly listed companies where we have no control by being like a 0.1% holder and Islamic investors. So instead of excluding ourselves, let us agree on some principles of damage control exercise, and with the minimum Sharia rule disruption, we can invest. So list of eligible equities, members of an Islamic equity index is fundamental in Islamic equity fund. So like if I'm a fund manager, this story which I shared with you, the Pfizer investment in Pfizer, I will check that if Pfizer is in the list of any of the Islamic indices, yeah, Islamic indexes. They're like London market has a FTSE Islamic index. FTSE means Financial Times, yeah. FTSE Islamic Sharia index. In New York is Dow Jones Islamic index or S&P Islamic index, and in UK and other places, there is something called MSCI index. I don't know the full form, but you can find out. So the screening methodology, like out of 5,000, 3,000, 4,000 companies listed on the stock market, how do we exclude some from like which companies we will not touch it. So this is the list of prohibited businesses. So conventional financial services based on riba, all the banks, insurance companies, their share will be all the govern conventional insurance, they will be excluded. Gambling and gaming industries will be excluded. These are sin industries, they are called. Prohibited business means sin industries. Manufacture or sale of tobacco products. In this, the Quakers and other ethical, socially conscious, they also have their own exclusion list. Yeah. Production or sale of non-halal products, i.e. pork and liquor, the companies will be excluded. So as you start excluding, you come from 3,000 to like 2,000 up to now. And then non-permissible entertainment businesses like cinema, hotels and things like that. Weapon production and distribution, armament industry will be taken. Others non-permissible activities, including businesses that invest or deal with no Sharia compliant investment. Yeah, some whatever. So after excluding all these, applying this negative criteria, we are left with 1/3 of the total companies where we can invest the Islamically. Okay. So the core business must not be prohibited activities. Core business means main business and major revenue stream. There might be some one or two small few percentage uh, non-halal. It's like a, it's like a, halal restaurants, not halal restaurants, but Asian and Indian restaurants, Pakistani restaurants, who some allow that you can bring alcohol from outside, like Tayyib in East London, and there were some who used to supply them also, and there was that we sell food, so 95% of our sale is nice Asian food, but 1 or 2, 3% alcohol is necessary to make things like that. Like 20 years ago, this was the prevalent things. So you can, in our neighborhood, we can see that this type of things was prevalent. So in the stock market, I mean, here this is owned by Muslims and Asians. But if we are not owning this, then we have no control over it for a few percentage non-compliant things. Could be expanded and combined with other social responsibility features, e.g. environmental and child protection. So with this all negative screening criteria, there could be some positive screening, like they should be environmental friendly, they should have social responsibility policy, and all sorts of socialist ideas. Like 250 years ago, this Cadbury came into business, Cadbury chocolate, because the Quakers of Birmingham, they said we have to take people away from tobacco and other, healthy, harmful things. So they came into the chocolate business and other things, and they also promoted that we should not do any unethical, which is uh, harmful to society, harmful to the social fabric. Yeah. Okay. So let's screening methodology. So once we say that uh, core activities are halal and core activities does not include any of these, then there are some exceptions. Yeah? Islamic Equity Index screening methodology. Non-core ancillary other businesses may include activities that are common part of business, e.g. hotel, selling liquor, unavoidable activities. Hotel mean residential hotel and even the restaurants. Yeah, unavoidable activities like managing cash in banks with interest, or even those strictly non-Sharia permissibility as long as they are very minor, small, like qalilun, uh, you can negligible amount in thousands of millions activity. If there is 1 million of this, we can identify it and get rid of it. Yeah, any income from that. So quantitative assessment. So this was up to now is qualitative assessment, qualitative screening. Now is quantitative, screening. Quantitative assessment is that they should not have debt. They should not be earning substantial interest income, or they should not be like heavily in debt to paying the debt. Yeah, like BT, British Telecom, uh, whatever their total value, their debt is around more than one third of their total market worth. Debt means they owe to the banks. So single limit approach, IG, MSCI and the Dow Jones Index, for all non-permissible activities, no more than 5% of the total business. So this non-compliant business should not be more than 5%. Yeah, that is the in these two indexes. Multiple benchmark approach mean strictly prohibited business, e.g. banking, they should not be more than 5%. Rental income from non-compliant activities, hotel operation, stockbroking should not be more than 20%. Calculation based on revenue and pre-tax profits. The total sum received and total haram income or dubious income, because those dubious income, once it's identified, they need to be cleansed, purified and given to the charity. Oh, so screening methodology is continuing, yeah. So there is this is the qualitative and this is a quantitative 5%, and then there is a financial screening mean leverage. The debt should not be use of debt should not be into the company. It should be minimum or not substantial. So 33% or 30% is like a limit. Liquidity interest generating assets should not be like more than 3 to 5%. Calculation based on assets and enterprise value. So how do they value the income against the total assets or total market value? Monitoring. How do we know that who is doing what? There is a regular monitoring based on availability of information annually, semi-annually. So there are companies, especially data supplying like Bloomberg and others about all these things. Yeah. Screening done not limited to existing index members, but the whole universe screen in and out, all the things in and out. rebalancing of index. So there are like scores of professional and computer added, artificial intelligence added screening things to look on to this like 3,000, 5,000, 4,000 companies and all these parameters, debt, interest income, area of business, and things like that. If you see any company's annual report, you will find all this information. Information disclosure methodology must be transparent. Immediate announcement of screening results. Dividend information for cleaning purification. So these are the fund's responsibilities. Yeah. Okay. This is like a diagrammatic step-by-step approach. So while you are reading this, I will just go see what are the questions somebody has put it. Oh, sorry, I need to change my glasses. Is the Scottish Widow a halal pension fund? Well, my wife works for a company that automatically describes you into the company. Subscribe you into the company. At the moment, I do not know that the Scottish Widow have a, but it is always worth to ask them that do they claim? First of all, and okay. I will do all the requests for the link or anything, inshallah, before the end of today. And the Scottish widows, I do not know. Although we kept saying to them when I was there like a couple of years ago, whether they have made it or not, I will not know. So if they claim it, then it's okay. Yeah. Okay. So what is this HL fund disclosure? I got this Google search. Can find Aberdeen Group. Can't find Aberdeen Global website. Okay. There was some problem yesterday also. I was looking. So I will give you the context. Yeah? So for this 5% figure, where did these scholars get this from? Yeah, that's a good, interesting question. And if a company engages in haram activity, how are we allowed to invest in such a company, even if it is just 0.1%? Yeah. These are the valid questions, and these have been specifically debated for last 100 years. And as a result of debate uh, that if a company has like a million share and you are owner of 1/million, yeah, 1/million, and if there is anything which is haram or non-compliant, so if it is in a cash form, you can dispose it as a haram income. But if it is in terms of activity, you can still uh, get the calculation and give away the haram income. But in terms of being responsible, 1/million cannot be held responsible for what is done by 999,000 shares. This is the argument that in an environment like UK we are living, we are not in a Sharia state. Why we are living? We say we just only enjoy the freedom of religion, and we just denounce and keep away from all alcoholic and haram way of life in the UK. Similarly, in a company, if they know and we have made it clear that we don't agree with your this thing, but I have a minority shareholder, so I cannot have any influence. So I will not be held responsible for the activities of million people while I am 1/million. And there is a Sharia opinion. Let's be clear. There is a Sharia opinion that if there are two partners, 50-50, suppose two 50-50, one partner is a non-Muslim and other partner is Muslim. So non-Muslims is not bound by Sharia. So how can one person enforce his opinion on the others? Yeah. So non-Muslims, for non-Muslims, this is not a sin industry. For them, it is halal. So if I am 1/1 millionth of the participants, I'm only participating in the main activities, not in everything. My non-Muslim shareholders, co-shareholders, for them it is not even prohibited and haram. So I'm not to be held responsible for the things. For me, if I were doing it, it is haram. But if somebody else is doing it, it's not haram for them. Yeah. So even 0.01%, we are not to take blame because it is a common and so. For instance, whole society lives, and not everybody is responsible for each other, even if they do engage into business. Yeah. So I mean, there are some. If you are interested, I can dig out some rationale for this. But the qiyas, qiyas is not right, because like being 5% of Muslims living in UK, 95% of non-Muslims, we cannot be really said that you are like a participant in this society and you should be responsible. As long as it is a segregable, as long as you can avoid yourself uh, benefiting and indulging, then that's so. For the philosophical rationale, I can supply you some writing, but this is a consensus. The 5% agreement and 33%, all sorts of things have been very long time, like 10, 20 years, has been debated. Research paper written. If you are having interest, I can find out some material to read it. But I don't feel responsible for my neighbor's sins and my partner's sins, and even if it is for my partner is not sin, so his proportion, uh, non-Muslims are free to do as they want, and my participation is not in every but proportionally everything. Okay, so Market Universe is screening out companies with non-permissible core business. Eligible list core business, screen out companies with non-permissible activities within the business metrics. Yeah, and eligible list is financial screening of eligible companies, financial positives, leverage, financial asset. All this after the filtering, these three filtration process, whatever is there, it is published in a form of called Islamic Index, FTSE Islamic Index, FTSE, 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 FTSE Islamic Index, Dow Jones, S&P DJ Index, if you write. And if you write the screening criteria, you will find 20-page document based on all the Sharia rules, which has been developed through consensus of the scholars. So key principle is income received from non-permissible portion must be purified, mean given away. Purification of the index level, a portion of the dividend representing non-permissible income should be deducted from the index return, e.g. from liquor sales of supermarkets, insurance businesses, or of a holiday company. Dividend to be deducted and purified as a percentage. And there is a very elaborate paper in my name also, if you search on the Google, the purification methodology, uh, how the accounting is done and how we can accurately take out all the haram income uh, profits and distribute it to the charitable purposes, because that is the every year from the Aberdeen funds we used to distribute like 5, 10, 20, $30,000 to the social causes, yeah, to the charities. So dividend time, non-permissible revenues, earnings, or total revenue of earnings uh, will bring you the amount which need to be given away in charity. And this includes the earnings in interest income. Yeah. The paper jointly developed with me and with others, or it's like 30-page document about the purging methodology, you can say. Purge, cleaning, cleansing. These are two words, purging and cleansing. Yeah. Purification of the at the fund level. For all the funds, the portion of dividend coming from non-permissible activities should be given out for charitable purposes, clearly defined in prospectus. Use same calculation as above. This is, if you see any prospectus, funds with active management, additional purification resulting from the gain or sale of the equities that are subsequently considered as non-compliant. Key principles. If an equity draws from the compliant list, the funds cannot continue to hold it, thus sell. Yeah. So for instance, if one of the companies come out of the index, then you have to sell it. But if price is greater than the cost, the sale is conducted immediately after announcement. On the same or immediate trading day, capital gains may be kept. If price cost on the announcement is like price is greater than the cost, yeah, and all this criteria is there, you will be. So these are the rules given from Sharia point of view to the fund manager. I mean, I had a question. This is an example of calculation. Yeah. So I think I'll leave it to you, to your maths. How do you work it out? The general rule is that, uh, Tata Ethical Fund, they were required to dispose this within a month. And they just were requesting through Sharia scholar just 5 or 10 more days. And the supervisors, they were not giving them time. So I said, look, the purpose of this purification and cleansing approach is to damage control ourselves also. So if there is a company which was halal to invest and then it become like prohibited to invest, then still we cannot suffer losses because of immediate sales. So these are the rules to see that as long as we can recover our cost price, then we can sell it as soon as possible. But if the market has fallen or some market volatility reason, if we cannot even get our initial investment, then we can wait till we can recover our cost, because for the violation of commandment of Allah and if there is huququllah and huququl ibad, then if there is a conflict between huququllah and huququl ibad will prevail, huququllah will go later. I mean, this is just a general principle. And that I used it to explain to them in Tata people that, Allah requires us to abide by the Sharia law, but not as a grace loss, like فَمَنِ اسْتُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ. If one is not if one is compelled with the situation or adverse health effect or life threatening things or other issues, then we can you can have a grace period, like some time. That would be great to read the scholars' reasoning in Jazakumullah Khair. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, of course, IOFI and others, they have put it here. Okay, so this is like, I mean, these are the simple mathematics that given different scenarios. So if there is a loss to incur by disposing the non-compliant companies, then we can wait till we can recover our own investment. We don't have to lose money. Yeah? We don't have to lose because of the immediacy of the requirement. Yeah? Purification at fund level. The fund cannot buy equities not listed in the compliant list. Yeah. So they come to us if there is something outside index. They come asking us, giving us the full data, and all over the year, every month, I get so much request about this company and that company, and going through their annual reports. Then I say, yeah, you are allowed or you are not allowed. Still need a remedy. Yeah. Any purchase in this nature is considered non-compliant and thus subject to the sanction on the fund manager and not to the fund. Yeah. So still need a remedy. Must be sold immediately if cost is recoverable. Any gain plus dividend should be given out. If cost is not recoverable, sale may be postponed within a certain period, e.g. 1 month or something. As I mentioned to you, the Tata index passive funds do not have purification other than the for dividends. Like the passive fund is different. So Islamic real estate fund. So for instance, if four people got together and invested in a real estate, then of course it's halal. And there are like hundreds of private funds in Manchester, and many brothers and sisters and group and family, they do it. Yeah. Real estate is usually a debt heavy instrument. I mean, if it is a mortgage based, financing real estate construction using equity is extremely expensive. Yeah. So unless financing via sukuk, real estate equity investment is usually non-Sharia compliant. Generally, like Barrett's and others, yeah, they are all borrowers here. But so the were conventional real estate funds for these purposes, and they do like this. But Islamic one, the real estate investment fund continues. So Islamic one are modification on the existing real estate market. Like many many developers in the market. It's modified by the supervision of Sharia and management company, which is like a Mudaraba company, the construction company, or like a fund manager, investment fund listed or non-listed, and property managers, and then real estate, and of course either through SPV like legal arrangements. So if you are interested, really just go to the Yielders site. The Yielders on the first page I gave, Yielders site. You will see all details of how to crowd fund real estate through the Sharia, and their Sharia compliance is there. IGLO one, I certified it, but the Yielders is certified by some other scholars in Birmingham or Manchester. So this is the structure of the Sharia compliant real estate fund. And if it is like a multi-investor, then this structure is required. But if there are 2, 3, 4 brothers putting their saving, investing it, then there is not much to do. So in Manchester, Birmingham, and London, there are so many families and brothers who are investing in real estate. So Islamic real estate fund, these are the key issues: property development and its financing, either buy, develop, and then sell, buy, improve, and sell, or buy and lend it. Yeah. So these are the three or four scenarios which is used here. And the tenancy and acquisition, all these type of things are the issues. Yeah. These are the issues, use of real estate and tenancy, that mainly for Sharia permissible businesses. So like investment in hotel, if the alcohol proportion is significant in some countries and some countries not, then it will be permissible or not permissible. These are the issues the Sharia board has to look after. Limits can be differential based on existing tenants, new tenants, yeah, some 100% permissible or non-permissible. Tenancy of newly acquired property, at least 80% should be permissible. Like if there are existing tenants, then there are some other procedures. These are the issues in real estate, but real estate is usually the choice is good and one can do it. Yeah. And the purification and cash management and insurance is all dealt with the real estate. Yeah. So I'm just running through quickly because we have run out of time, 1 hour. And so let us close the Islamic investment funds, important part of the Islamic financial system. As I told you, there are 980 funds which has been created, some gone out of business. Business foundation for Islamic investment funds are availability of investable assets, presence of asset management business, and its supportive enabling environment. So Alhamdulillah, from Far East to Middle East to North Africa and Europe, there are plenty of Even the big international banks like HSBC, they have things, yeah, because there is a demand for managing. Government initiatives in developing Sukuk market is needed for Islamic fund. And UK government is on the board. They issued the Sukuk and they are issuing further, inshallah. Different methodologies and approaches exist. Policies should strike a balance between international acceptance and local context. Yeah, I mean, these are the things. Some opportunities may exist today, but there are a detailed work to do. I mean, there is all the time the funds keep coming and going. Yeah? So I don't know whether you are interested in Aberdeen one, because Aberdeen one has just been announced that the Children's Mutual, the baby bond, Sharia bond invested, they are moving to some other funds. So they may not survive, but the prospectus I can give it to you, inshallah. Comparison Islamic Equity Index methodology. So there are like Far East methodology, Malaysian methodology, Pakistani methodology, and then there is a Gulf methodology, and then there's FTSE, and then the Dow Jones. But the Sharia scholars are across the globe on all the boards. So these are the, for if you go through each index, Securities Commission Malaysia, Dow Jones and S&P, MSCI, FTSE, and SC Malaysia, Dow Jones, S&P, all these their limits, like a capping mechanism, and the percentage are few percent here and there. Yeah? Mostly similar, but there are some arguments and write-ups. And you have to read a lot if you want to understand all the rationalization. But the things are there, inshallah.